Welcome back. It was a huge leg up to many area high school kids wanting to get a jump on their college education. Dual enrollment. High school students in Sarasota and Manatee counties could take their classes at State College of Florida at their high schools. That was until now. State College pulling the plug on the program because of quality inconsistencies. What exactly does that mean? One thing for sure, both the Sarasota and Manatee County school districts are not happy. And joining us for more are Bridget Ziegler, of the chairperson of the Sarasota County School District, Scott Hopes, the chairperson of the Manatee County School District, and Elizabeth DeGenis of the Herald Tribune. Thank you all for joining us. I guess my first question was that SEF is talking about inconsistencies in terms of the courses. Did either one of you have any indication that the school was concerned about this prior to the announcement? Bridget?
I'll start with, because this was two-phase for Sarasota County, starting with Pineview, which has a long historical background to understand the dual enrollment conversation with SDF. So that was raised. There were inconsistencies. I had never seen data to support that, and I was very involved to try to get to the bottom of it, but to date still have not yet seen that data.
And Scott, this is something that you're really familiar with because you've been on the Board of Trustees at USF. So again, did this also catch you by surprise?
Totally. In fact, I was actually at USF Sarasota Manatee for a town hall and talking about the need to align all of our education institutions. And I got an email from the superintendent that she had just gotten a phone call from State College that they were going to be ending dual enrollment in Sarasota and Manatee County. And without any forewarning.
And Elizabeth, at least in Sarasota County, do you have any kind of estimate how many kids have taken advantage of this program up until now?
Yeah, so I can tell you in both counties, I think it's about 2,000 in total, and that's 1,100 who took the classes at their own campuses, and then about 900 who took them at SEF's campus.
Okay, and let's get to a statement that SEF provided us in terms of their reasoning. It should be on your screen. As a result of academic quality inconsistencies discovered throughout the program when administered off-site, quality inconsistencies related to course rigor, faculty oversight, academic support, and guidance were not meeting SCF's quality standards. Bridget, do you have any idea exactly what they were talking about?
Again, there were circumstances, if you go back a couple months, and again, both of this caught me and many families by surprise, and quite frankly, the biggest frustration is that we're left with students who had a plan, and now we have to quickly figure out how we can support that plan. But there were issues specifically with Pineview that were raised through SDF with inconsistencies, not just on the grades, but offering a course that should have been 1 semester and was offered for 2 semesters. That's truly the only one that I'm aware of, but that had kind of elevated to work that out, and it seemed that it was unable to be worked out, and Dr. Propsfeld had sent a letter to the board of Sarasota County School Board indicating some concerns there. So,
okay, we have to take just a quick break. Our conversation on the changes made to SCF continues. And welcome back. We are talking about SCF's decision to end dual enrollment on high school campuses. And joining us for more are Bridget Ziegler, the chair of the Sarasota School Board, Scott Hopes, the chair of the Manatee County School Board, and Elizabeth DeGenis, education reporter at the Herald Tribune. And Elizabeth, I guess the first question is, if the students now have to either go to the SCF campus or take the courses online, are families having any difficulty in terms of getting these kids to that campus?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a problem for a lot of families. I mean, you have to think about, first of all, freshmen and sophomores could take these classes, so many of those students can't drive, so that means their parents would have to be taken into the campuses. And then the ones who can drive, I mean, not everybody has a car. I think it's a difficult situation. So many of them may decide to take other advanced courses, like advanced placement courses or other advanced courses that are offered at schools.
What kind of feedback have you gotten from parents?
It's been a tremendous blow. Two things, and I would say it's a major restriction. Not only is it from a scheduling standpoint for them to leave the campus, and oftentimes the schools will have a challenge trying to do that. In the articulation with SCF, it only allows for on-campus for them to be juniors and seniors. It's more of a liability issue. So you can, 9th and 10th grade are completely out at that point. And then the additional part is transportation. We always talk about that in all programs. If you don't have transportation there, it doesn't matter how great that program is, you're specifically probably going to hinder low-income families for the most to be able to access that, and that's a big problem.
And Scott, I know one of your concerns is also high school kids taking college classes online. I mean, a lot of kids take FLVS, virtual school, but you think taking a college class is different than that?
A lot of these, because one of the common dual enrollment courses is like psychology. And you benefit from that interaction with an instructor. Remember, these are still high school age students who are academically ready to go through the rigors of a college course rather than, say, an AP course. And to do some of these courses online, that's what we're preparing them for. I mean, that's why you have that online requirement in high school to prepare for those few courses you may take in college. But these students need the benefit of having an instructor because they are transitioning from a high school expectation to a college or university expectation.
And we should point out, we did invite SCF to participate in this roundtable tonight, but they unfortunately could not make it. Elizabeth, have you, as you reported this story, how easy has it been to get answers that you were seeking that a lot of people in Sarasota and Manatee are seeking?
I mean, I think there are answers, and I think they've answered every question that I have. I think at some point it's just a difference of opinion. You know, this has been decided, and I think that it's now kind of in some ways the district's job to do, on both districts' job to kind of figure out what the solution is here. So, I mean, I think they've talked about the academic inconsistencies that you mentioned. They've said and they've stressed that they're not taking away dual enrollment. They're just offering them now at campuses or online. And I think it's kind of now, like I said, on the districts to figure it out.
The obvious question that this begs, is it just about academic inconsistencies, or is money involved? FCF says no, but let's explore some of that in a moment. We are just getting warmed up. Our conversation on the changes made to SCF will continue after a quick break, so stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. We are talking about FCF's decision to end dual enrollment on high school campuses. And joining us for more are Bridget Ziegler, the chair of the Sarasota School Board, Scott Hopes, the chair of the Manatee County School Board, and Elizabeth DeGinnis, the education reporter at the Herald Tribune. And we should say again, we asked SCF to be here tonight, but they could not make it. The school says at issue were these inconsistencies, which we talked about, but the obvious question is whether finances were involved here. In our story earlier, the school told Erica Jackson that is not true. And in the statement to this, they also say post-secondary education will continue to be at no cost to the student while in high school. So is there a cost or an increased cost to both school districts? Scott?
Well, there is. There's a cost to the district, because if the student is taking the class online or taking it on SCF's campus, the tuition is $72 per credit hour, where that tuition wasn't being paid if our faculty were teaching it in our classrooms. So you're going to have a cost of the student to even get to SCF. The school districts are going to now, all those students, if they were to go on campus, it's going to increase the cost to the school district that no one's budgeted for. And it will cost the education system. We were both public education institutions, State College, the school district of Manatee County, and the school district of Sarasota County. And so we had a system that provided the best value to the school system and to the students, and they have disrupted it. In our case, they've disrupted it without any pre-warning to the school district.
Well, that was my next question, Bridget. You said that there was an indication in terms of what was going on at Pineview, but did you know that this vote was coming?
No. I mean, even the Pineview back in May blew me away with being shocked. I mean, and those families, and there was a lot of activism to try to continue and offer the equitable offerings of dual enrollment at Pineview as it was with other high schools. So when that was pulled out, that was a shock. But then when the entire thing was pulled out, and again, it's now, we have students' lives that have really, I mean, it's an amazing opportunity which the legislature wanted to offer to families so that they could graduate with associate's degrees. I mean, if you look at the families or students now graduating with unsurmountable debt, this is really changing that trajectory. And now we have a circumstance where we have to quickly figure out, like I said, how to support these students who had that plan at a moment's notice, essentially.
Two questions, Elizabeth. So how many students and families are, despite this, taking the school up on the offer to take these classes on campus or online? And number two, do you see any kind of effort to go to Tallahassee, the state legislature, or whatever to try to figure something out differently?
Well, let me start with the first question. I think that it would be hard for me to say right now. It's only been like 2 or 3 weeks since the decision. So I think that there are probably some students who will end up taking advantage of taking classes online or at SCF's campuses. But I don't know like what percentage of the students who were taking them on their campuses will decide to do that. Probably not 100% of those students.
Scott, what is Manatee doing in terms of, were these kind of programs offered by other schools in the area, USF, Sarasota, Manatee? I mean, are you going to be contacting USF in Tampa? I mean, how is this all going to work?
We're actually already, we had been in discussions and negotiations with the University of South Florida, Sarasota, Manatee, first to bring USF onto our Bayshore campus. That was followed by, we had a board workshop, a roundtable with the chancellor of USF Sarasota Manatee and the director of the College of Education with our board, where we began a discussion of actually having USF a collegiate program at Palmetto High School. So we have just, with the superintendent and I have decided that given State College of Florida's position, we'll look to bring USF into all of our high school campuses. The thing about their decision is those students who are going to be impacted the most are those socioeconomically disadvantaged students who were benefiting the most by being able to take courses at their home high school. And that gives them a head start to be successful following
Are
this.
you saying even if you hook up with USF that it would not be the same situation, that your current staff, teachers would be able to teach these
I think it'll be better. I'm a bull through and through.
Yeah. Former trustee of USF.
No, it will be a better program, and we certainly know how to monitor the grading and the rigors of the curriculum, and so I think some of their issues fall short because the comments at their board meeting has to do a lot with economics.
Well, I want to ask about that in a second, but Bridget, same question to you. What is Sarasota doing to make arrangements either with other schools?
Right. So prior to this, we had, including SCF, 8 different articulation agreements, meaning a contract with a post-secondary institution, but SCF's was the most robust offering. I know that I spoke with the superintendent prior to our last meeting saying, I know we're in the process of it, but it's really important to these families that they know we are working on it, we're not going to wait. So we're in negotiations with a couple post-secondary institutions. Too early to say anything, but it's not something that we're taking lightly. We're not waiting. It's action's being taken immediately.
What kind of communications have there been with SCF since this came out? I mean, are you trying to talk to their board of trustees or their administration in terms of at least trying to work something out differently?
I'll say I certainly, specific to when the Pineview announcement came out, that they were pulling dual enrollment on that campus, and it was specific to Pineview. I did reach out to a couple members of the boards of trustees to get a sense of what had happened. They shared very similar that what was included in a letter from Dr. Propsfeld to the board back in May that included 4 different bullets of issues that they had that had been worked over some time and hadn't come to some agreement. Outside of that, I didn't have any forewarning that there was going to be a potential of it completely being eliminated. We thought it was just going to be a 1-year pause for us to work those things out and then resume as business as usual would be my hope, but as we see, that's not the case.
And Scott, same question to you. Are you trying to work something out differently with them?
Well, it's as Elizabeth said, it's only been a couple of weeks, and we have been in discussions with the University of South Florida. I think we may have been collateral damage to provide cover because I was unaware of the history with one of the schools in Sarasota. I will probably reach out to those trustee members at State College that I'm familiar with, but keep in mind the timing of this. These students start in the spring, in March, enrolling for next year. So we are in a position where we only have a couple of months to get Plan B in place. It appears that they've made their decision. I have not gotten any indication that they're reconsidering it. They think that the alternative is as they have laid out, to go to their campus, which probably half of our students will not be able to avail themselves of that because they don't have transportation.
And Elizabeth, one question that came up in our conversation here is, anybody who's gone to college around here or the university, there are parking fees if you park on campus. Who pays for that? Those are just some of the just obvious questions that you would ask. And the question again is, how many kids out there are interested in turning to programs like this in the future?
Right. I mean, I think you're right. There are definitely going to be more costs associated with taking a course on one of SCF's campuses. I think at the same time what they would argue, and actually one of the reasons for taking away the program from Sarasota and Manatee campuses, is that there are more resources they can afford you on their campuses, like libraries, access to counselors, people who can help you with your work. And those were things they said that they were not finding at the same rates that Sarasota and Manatee.
And I would say to their defense, to a certain point, I mean, whether it's the whole story or not, that their accreditation did require that. And so they are their own institution. They have to respond to those policies of the accreditation. I mean, they have to, and that's where we're at. And so I think looking forward, I think you do ask a great question, is there an opportunity to work towards a further solution? I would say absolutely. Let's hope. Sarasota has a long history with SCF and a very positive history. Seems we've hit a bump in the road, and my biggest concern right now is helping the students figure out a plan forward, but not leaving SCF as a partner that's gone in the wind. That's going to be a future.
We have less than a minute left, but I want to ask you the same question. I mean, SCF made the point that there are a lot of things on campus that students, even high school students, can benefit from. That makes sense.
It makes sense if that student can avail themselves of being on campus full time. The logistics of a student who must take the courses to graduate in their high school and then take dual enrollment courses at another campus, we're going to have to work through it. And I think that maybe it's just that we need to talk through this with State College of Florida.
Okay, we have to take a quick break, and we'll be back for final thoughts in just a moment, so stay with us. And our guest joining us right now for final thoughts. Elizabeth, I'm going to start with you. Where do a lot of these families and kids stand right now in terms of taking these courses? They were caught in the middle, and obviously they have to sign up for next year in just a couple of months.
I think a lot of people are really waiting to see what both districts do, and I think they're really depending on whether there's going to be another option for them or not. But if not, I think they'll probably look to see if whether taking courses on SCF's campus is an option, or if they'll have to do another alternative to dual enrollment, like AP or some other type of advanced option.
Scott, we were talking about whether or not this is a bump in the road, but in another way, is this the wave of the future, that we're going to be offering more opportunities for high school students to get their college credits while they're still in high school?
Oh, we need to. I mean, I'm a product of this program, and what I want the parents and students of Manatee County to know is, come spring when their children are enrolling for the fall, that we will continue to have the dual enrollment options available to them, both on campus and our campuses, as well as on these state college campuses and the university campuses. Because these students, this is a successful program. I think it is a bump in the road, because dual enrollment has been very successful. All of us need to collaborate with the focus of preparing our students for success in college and life.
And Bridget, you get the final word.
As someone who's worked with families relentlessly for the last 4 years, it's disappointing, and my sole focus again is going to be ensuring that those options are available to those families and those students. I think we need to continue to collaborate. Partnerships are key for us to have those options, so I will remain optimistic but relentless at the same time.
Okay. I want to thank you all. We want to thank our guests, Bridget Ziegler, the chair of the Sarasota School Board, Scott Hopes, the chair of the Manatee County School Board, and Elizabeth DeGinnis, education reporter at the Herald Tribune.